What up, world? Welcome to another episode of RMT, that's Real Man Talk. It's your boy, Stan the Man, coming to you with another great conversation piece on today. And before we get started, I want to thank you for joining me here on RMT. And real quick, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, share this with someone that you think it would help. All right? So let's go ahead and get into it today. Today, we want to talk about, I got my notes right here. You can't judge what you ain't been through. You can't judge what you ain't been through. See, we live in a world where everybody got opinion. Everybody got opinions about anything that's going on in your life, any experience that you are having. Everybody got an opinion. People are quick to speak on what you got going on, but never went through what you went through. Everybody like to talk about the situation, but never been through the situation, but they got all the best options for you. You ever met somebody like that? You ever talk to people like that? They want to tell you how to heal. They want to tell you how to move. They want to tell you how to invest, but they never been in your shoes. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. Let me tell you this. Pain produces perspective. And if you ain't been through nothing, you ain't qualified to speak on everything. And even if you have been through something, that still don't qualify you to speak on everything, right? Social media make people comfortable judging people. They able to comment on your mistakes. They able to comment on when you did good. They able to comment on when you did bad. They able to comment and give their opinions on everything that you have went through, everything that you are experiencing. And social media have empowered people to be able to do such things, right? Let me tell you this. Some of the loudest people, the loudest critics, the one that's talking the loudest about the situation, be the main one that ain't been through nothing. Be the main one that ain't been through nothing. They never failed at anything, so they don't know what recovery feels like. They never lost anything, so they're not familiar with compassion. So let's go to the Bible real quick. The Bible says in Matthew 7, 1 through 2, judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. Yes. So what judgment that you judge, you shall be judged. And this not just talking about heaven, but this talking about real life situation. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: you can judge somebody's situation, but they current situation will spin the block and come around to you. So while you talking about what they should have done, what they could have done, they should have did this and did that. Now you'll get put in that same situation and see how you react. It happened to me. I done been talking about somebody's situation, and that's why I have learned over the years to learn how to shut my mouth when people are going through things or it's something that's happening to somebody, and me open my mouth saying, "Man, I should have did this. I would have did that." Then when it came back to me, then I was like, "Oh, I see why they did what they did." Because now I'm facing that situation. And what I talked about that I said I was gonna do, no, I didn't do that. But then I end up doing the same thing that they did because I saw why they did it. Because guess what? I'm in that situation. And a lot of us speak and talk about situations we haven't been through. We lie on people because they going through something. We laugh at people because they going through something and they made a decision that we thought like, oh, why would they do that? You don't know what type of pressure they was up under. You don't know what type of grief that they're feeling. You don't know anything that they are going through at that moment. The reason they made that decision, but now you want to judge the decision. Your time is coming. So be careful. Be careful because that problem, that situation can spin the block and come around to you. When it come down to you, then what you gonna do? Yeah, that's the question. What you gonna do now that issue you facing that issue now? And see, man, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna say this. Let me stick on this for a second. Sometimes God will let you go through it so He can teach you a lesson. See, we talk about other people, but the lesson that they learning in that, Now it's time for you to learn that lesson. See, some of us need to be humble, right? So he'll let you go through getting evicted out of a house and somebody see it. He'll let you go through losing your car so somebody else can see it. He'll let you go through losing your house so other people can see it. He'll let you go through an embarrassing situation so other people can see it. And you be like, dang, man, you embarrassed by it. It started to humble you and you realize, well, I ain't all that I was putting on. Because a lot of us are portraying. A lot of us are putting on a mask every day. A lot of us are fronting. Let's be honest. A lot of us are putting on airs for people around us, for people to think more of us because of the things we have, the way we portray ourselves on Facebook, the things that we post. So it make it look a certain type of way. But really, it's a whole different way. But we hide that part. You can't see that part. You see all my lavish trips. You see all my lavish things that I post on Instagram. You see the jewelry. You see the cars. You see the women. You see me kicking it or whatever the case. You see all those highlights of my life, right? But you don't see me struggling to pay my bills. You don't see me not having money in my account. See, people not gonna show that part. They're not gonna show that they behind on their house note 2 or 3 months. They about to go into a foreclosure. They gotta hide that car because that car about to get repoed. They not posting that. They not showing that side of it, but they will show the highlight reels. They'll show the peaks. But it's something to learn in the valleys. Yes, it's down there in the valleys. It's something to learn within the valley. See, everybody wants to be in the mountains, but down in the valleys, in the trenches, where the issues at, that's where you start to learn something about yourself. Do you really got that grit and grind that you think you have? Do you really got that? Do you really got the long lasting? Do you got that long lasting to keep pushing to get to the next level, to get through this issue that you're talking? You can give a motivational speech to everybody else until them problems hit you. Now you want to whine and cry. But when you in that valley and you struggling within the situation, we do not give thanks to God for our problems. We don't. We never give thanks to God for issues that we're going through, tough people that we're facing, tough marriages, tough financial problems, family issues, problems with your children, co-workers, health. We never give thanks to those things because a lot of times those things come about to give him more praise. See, when you're going through something, man, you start praying so hard. You have such a sincere, passionate prayer when you're going through something. I'm going to tell you, when a problem hit, man, you be praying almost every day. Man, Lord, let these results come back good. Lord, please don't let them take my car. Please don't let them take my house, Lord. Please don't let me lose my job, Lord. You know, you got a sincere prayer and you passionate about it. But when you have came out that situation, you have learned a new skill. See, you have disciplined yourself to pray a passionate prayer every day when you're going through something. You learn how to leave it with him. You learn how to trust him a little bit more when you're going through, because you can't see how you're going to get through this. Only he can get you out of it. So you're learning something then. But after you get out of it, you don't want to practice that anymore because you are not feeling that valley. You're not feeling that pain. You're not going through that issue. You're not doing that anymore. So now you don't feel like I have to pray like I used to. I don't have to be as passionate or as grateful as I used to because everything is going good now. So then he had to turn and take you through another valley to get some of that out of you that you know how to do. So he wants you to continue to do that. He wants you to continue to practice that, not just when things are going bad, but also when things are going good. Also, when things are going good, see, I got this next scripture right here. Romans 5, 3, and 4 says, we glory in tribulations also, knowing that the tribulation worketh patience, and patient experience, and experience hope. So your pain ain't wasted. The heartbreak, the failure, that loss, that's the very thing that qualifies you to understand others and lead with compassion. See, when you start to go through things in life, you look at certain things in a different perspective. You can look at it different because when you don't go through nothing, you just looking at the surface level. You might go off what you feel, or um, if you haven't been through that, like certain experiences, you try to equate with what that situation is. So let me give you an example. Somebody might lose their wife, right? Or they might lose their husband. They might lose that. Now you try to compare it to losing a mom or a dad, and it's two different things. And so when you go to that person, you feel like you qualified because you have lost a parent. So I'm qualified to talk on you losing your wife or losing your husband. But that's a whole different type of love and a different type of hurt. And let me say this, because I say this because with your parents, you expect your parents to leave you at a certain point. All right, you expect them to get up to a certain age, and eventually, either you gonna move away from them or they gonna pass away. You expect that, you know. But when it comes to a husband or a wife, you expect to walk this life thing through them, especially if it's a young marriage. You expect to have them for years to come. And when they gone, that's a different type of hurt and a different type of pain to me, because I have lost parents and I have lost siblings. So both of those was a different type of pain to me. So me trying to understand somebody losing their wife or husband, I can't say that I'll be able to speak to that. And sometimes we don't use our discernment to understand that certain situations you don't need to speak on. You probably just need to be there because you might not understand it. Because I remember before people passing away, I used to say, man, I understand where you're coming from. I understand how you feel. I don't say that anymore. I just be there for the person and be like, listen, what you're going through, man, it's tough. Take your time, grieve the way that you need to grieve, man, and get that up out your system. Because sometimes we try to hold it back and play the tough guy. You get it bottled all up, and you started lashing out on the people that's closest to you, the people that you love, because you're not letting that grief come out. That grief will eat you up inside and have you start acting a different way. You'll be a whole different type of person because you holding that grief in. Am I saying you gotta cry in front of everybody or whatever? No, you might get off to yourself. When that grief hits you and you thinking about that person, just get off to yourself and let it out. Let your tears flow. Let that out of you. You ain't got to do it in front of nobody. It's been times that I done got up in the morning time. I've been thinking about some of my loved ones has passed away, and I done dropped tears. I done felt bad. But I had to start to release that and not hold it in, because holding it in, it's like a volcano. The pressure gonna build up and you gonna explode. And you might explode at a time that you weren't expecting to explode. All of them might come rushing in at one time. That's why you need to release that. And see, we have to use wisdom. We have to use wisdom when we go into situation talking to people, because you don't want to get to the point where you start to judge them without going through that situation or being in their shoes. See, we'll go just off our experience and start to by society norms, and we'll automatically judge that person based off society norms. Have you ever saw somebody that get into a situation and on social media everybody already deemed them guilty? They haven't went to court. It's just the social media have made them guilty before a verdict, before they done went to court. They done already said based off social norms that this person is guilty. Based off how they feel, they haven't saw any evidence, they haven't heard any testimonies or nothing, but just based off that they're guilty. Then they go to court, evidence come out and this and that, and they find out that they're not guilty. And people will be like, they'll make up in their own head that this person is guilty based off this without the facts. We go into judging people without the facts. We already say that they guilty of whatever they did, or we know how to judge the situation, and we don't because we haven't saw the evidence. So let me say this. When two people come into the courtroom, you got the plaintiff and the defendant. Now, both of them are putting their cases in. When they first come in, the judge don't automatically give a verdict off top. He don't. The judge don't even do that. He have to let them plead their case, present evidence, people give testimonies before he can make a judgment on the situation. We judge the situation before we get any information. See, when you go through certain things, that's your information. When you go through certain problems, certain trials, that's your information. So when you go to people, you can understand instead of judge. See, that's our problem. We want to go to judge instead of understanding. And so since you go to judge, you're going to always look down when you judging. You're always looking down when you judging. You always got I'm better than you when you judging. Now, don't get me wrong. I gotta explain this a little bit now. He did say you can judge with a righteous judgment, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. But you can judge with a righteous judgment, but we're gonna get into that later. But if you go to somebody, you need to understand the situation before you try to judge. And see, it's easy to judge because when we judge, we can point out somebody else's flaws and not ours. See, that's the difference when you judge. You understand when you start to understand, it's because you know went through that situation, so you can't judge because you have been humbled. And see, I'm gonna go to my notes right here. Um, a lot of judgment comes from insecurity. Some people can't stand seeing you go through something and still stand strong. They mad you survive what you should what have should they mad you survive what should have broke you. So instead of giving you credit, they criticize you to make themselves feel bigger. But see, real men, real women, people who go through the fire, they know how to salute another survivor. They say, I don't know what you went through, but I respect the fight. I don't know what you've been through, but I respect the fight. Have you ever saw somebody like they you got different forms of cancer, right? Each cancer patient can relate to each other by them having cancer. But each each person that went through it have experienced it different. So even though they had cancer, they can understand I went through that. It might not be the same thing, but I can salute it because you fought it and you made it on the other side and you continue to live and you continue to live your life and do what you need to do. See, we don't respect somebody that may have lost their job and bounced back. Or somebody that have stepped out on faith to be an entrepreneur. And you'll be like, oh man, you left that good job. You left them benefits. You left all this, man, to go and be an entrepreneur, man. All this stuff going on in the world. You going to step out on faith and God already gave you a good job and all this. Why you want to do that? When they are the person that's afraid to make that step. They are the person that's not disciplined enough with their money in order to go be an entrepreneur and take those steps to be able to provide for themselves. But the hating is a little bit better. The judgment is a little bit better. That way I don't have to look in the mirror. I ain't got to look in the mirror now because I can say, talk about you. Then you're going to get another person. Let me go get somebody else. You see so and so, they quit the job and they doing this and that. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Man, I wouldn't have did that. I would have kept this for a little while. I would have been making all the money, man. Yeah, you would have been making all the money. But they don't see it the same way that you see it. So since they don't see it the same way that you see it and they want to go about another way, there you go. Hating. You ain't judging no more. You hate now. You started off judging. You started off judging and then you turn into a hater. And so man, let me say this for a second, man. It's been times that I've really been going through, right? I've really been going through. And man, I had to go to work with a smile. I had to smile. I had to act joy. I had to have joy for my wife, for my kids. It was lies that was being spread about me. It was people that was talking about me that I truly love and I cared about. Man, they was talking about me and spreading lies. And people were saying things about me. And I was like, God, man, all I did everybody right. I didn't do nobody wrong. I didn't do nobody wrong, man. And I'm still getting this. When I could have been selfish and then I would have gave him a reason to talk about me, but I did good and I'm still getting talked about, man. That was tough right there. And for me to not retaliate, not try to go and defend myself, not saying, oh, well, that's wrong and they like this, and not go out and talk and spread lies on them. That was tough, man. That was tough, you know. And but on the cool, I'm glad God did it, but I got a chance to really see who's who in certain situations. You really get to see who's who when you're back against the wall, everybody talking about you, everybody picking sides, family picking sides, whatever the case might be. And you really get to see who your friends is. You really get to see who love you, who care about you, who really in your corner. And one person I know definitely in my corner is my beautiful wife. And I'm so grateful and thankful to have her around. But she was definitely had my back. She was definitely around thick and thin, everything. She still had my back. Still looked out for me. And see, one thing I also learned is like you have to watch who you talk to because that person will try to relate something similar to what they went through and compare it to what you going through and it be totally different. You know, sometimes your pain, you can't talk your pain to nobody else. Sometimes you just got to pray and just give it to God because you can talk to people and it'll piss you off because they can't relate or they not relating the way that you want them to relate or they not even hearing you out on what you talking about. They more concerned with trying to relate to the situation instead of listening and letting you get off your chest what you need to get off your chest. They more want to respond and saying you need to do this and you need to do that. Man, sometimes people just need an ear. Let me say this. Somebody that's listening right now, somebody that come to you, they think so much of you that they want to come and vent to you about this certain thing. They don't want no advice. They don't want you to judge them. They just want you to listen. Sometimes you just need to listen. Don't respond. Don't say nothing. Just listen and let them get it off their chest. Just let them get it off their chest. Somebody just want to get it off their chest right now, and you are stopping them, and you could be the person to let them vent before they explode like a volcano. But they want to get it off their chest with you, but you so smart, you so judgy that you don't understand your discernment haven't kicked in when it's time to listen and to shut up and when it's time to speak. And now this person that trusted you, that they want to come to you and get this off their chest, they can't because you want to talk and you so smart. And I got this right here. One of the reasons we stop judging is because you stop judging people because you know pain don't always look like what people think. Pain don't always look like what people think it should look like. And see, I'm gonna go back to the word for 1 second. In John 8, right? Jesus was faced with a woman caught in adultery. Everybody was ready to stone her. The crowd was full of people who never did what she did or at least hadn't been caught, right? Jesus looked at them and said, "He that without sin among you, let him cast the first stone." And guess what? One by one, they walked away. Why? Because once you're honest about your own flaws, you realize you ain't got the right to throw stones. And that's what we need more of today. That's what we need more of today. More people saying, "I might not understand your pain, but I've had mine too." So when we talk about this situation, and right now, if people would be honest and they'd be like, how many people behind on bills? How many people behind on their mortgage? How many people got problems in their marriage? How many people lying on Facebook? How many people stunting on Facebook? How many people driving a car they can't afford? Staying in a house they can't afford? Living a life they can't afford? Hands will go up. But just like she was judged, just like he called out the other people and asked them to not throw a stone, if you did that and asked people not to throw a stone and you called out what I just called out, if people be real and they raise their hand, everybody will have their hand up because somebody is going through something where you can't say nothing about nobody else. For real. We think we got it all figured out, and we don't. We don't. And the people who been through the most, they the most forgiving because grace makes you gentle. They the most forgiving. A lot of people. You know, saw somebody that know how to fight. Somebody that know how to fight they don't have a short temper. It take a lot for them to fight because they giving you warnings. They trying everything to avoid. A lot of people that's very dangerous, they try their best to avoid as much conflict as they can. They try to. They try to avoid as much conflict as they can, calm themselves down or whatever. They try to do it before they have to come and do something to you. They try to. And a lot of times, man, when people going through, a person that went through a lot, had a lot of pain, they're more understanding and they're more forgiving about situations. They more forgiving. Somebody that ain't been through nothing, they want to hold your feet to the fire, boy. And a lot of times people want to hold your feet to the fire because they don't want to get their issues pointed out. They don't want to get exposed. They don't want to tell the truth of what they hide behind, right? And I want to challenge y'all real quick. And before you open your mouth, before you talk about somebody, before you make a post, before you make a comment, ask yourself this. Have you been through what they're facing? Just think about that. Before you even have something to judge, you listen to somebody, before you even respond, have you been through what they're facing? Truly been through it. And I'll say this, I got this in my notes. If you haven't been through that, pray for them instead. Encourage them instead. Because maybe they don't need a critic. Maybe they need a witness. And man, sometimes, and I'll say this, when you have been through a lot, man, your story is just not the same. Your stories and the way you move just hit a little different when you're talking to people and they ain't experienced what you experienced or going through what you went through. So your talk gonna be a little different. The walk that you walking gonna be a little different. The way that you sound is gonna be a little different. The way you give details is gonna be a little different because you can talk to a person. If you done been through it, you can talk to a person's situation without talking to that person and know exactly what they're going through. That's how deep it get. You can be talking to somebody, right? They haven't even said what they going through. You might just be witnessing to somebody else, but based off the way that you witness it, it's touching them because they've been through it or going through it and know exactly what you're going through and how you felt within that time. And when you start talking to them, they'll know you telling the truth because they know you done went through it. They know them emotions that come up. They know their anger. They know their stress within that situation. They know that. So when you start speaking to it, you ain't even gotta call out their name. You ain't gotta point it out. They just feel what you're talking about. They understand it. Cause you be talking in a communication of through what they going through. Instead of judging. Why you doing this or why you doing that? And so man, I say this. I'm gonna go to my notes. I seen how quick people are to judge what they don't understand. But if we're gonna grow as men, if we're gonna grow as a community, we gotta stop attacking pain and start acknowledging it. The person who's remember this, the person who's never been through anything might look polished, but the one who has been through it all, that's the one who's prepared. So I appreciate y'all for joining in today. Also, if you want to get social, holla at me. Real Men Talk Podcast, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. If there's anything you want to hear me speak on, you can reach out to me on any of those platforms or drop a comment in this video. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until next week, peace.